Previously on Unranked.
Or I put together the DeLorean time machine Lego.
Oh boy.
Set.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
It's actually, you can see it. It's right
Yeah.
there. Right there.
Yep.
Okay. Kid comes downstairs. Okay. And is very fascinated with everything going on these shelves. I have the three iterations of the DeLorean as models in their boxes, not opened, on the shelf. She wants to take that off. She wants to reach. Please. Anyway, all this stuff. So the DeLorean. She wants to put Marty and I'm sorry, she calls him Margot. Margot and Doc.
Sure.
Okay. Doc, who I have here in my hand, right?
Yep.
Goes here. And then Margot would go there.
Yep.
But we don't have Margot.
But where is Margot?
Where in the house is Margot McFly? Well, Margot McFly, she took this off the shelf and said, "Can I have it?" And I was like, "Fine." All of a sudden, I hear, "Uh-oh." And I'm like, "What? Oh, no." So I go and I go, What? She goes, "Where's Margot? Doc, where's Margot?" And I'm like, "Where is Margot, Avery?" And she's sitting in front of the radiator, and there's holes in the radiator, and she points to the hole.
So talking about Tom getting canceled. Hello, it's episode
All right.
445 of the Unranked podcast. This is Christian Humes. We have Alex Tuna Marinello and Tom Caswell with us today.
But maybe not in the future. You're gonna have to.
Tom's getting canceled.
Yeah. Because a game man made a phone call while having a shit. Hey, what's up, Tuna? We're speed running. Once known in the community, we're trying to speed run this episode.
And Tuna right now is speed running, trimming his clip for the challenge.
Oh, I'm excited to get to that.
Am I right about that? Is that what you're doing? You're getting your clip ready?
Yeah, you are correct.
He was leaning in too much to his phone. That was like a two-hand phone maneuver. So I knew he was he wasn't typing, you know?
A two-hand phone maneuver. I love that.
Because is there like some trick to this? Because
What do you mean?
When I pause, when I'm trimming the video, right?
Yeah.
And I pause it.
Yeah.
I want the yellow piece to just snap there.
Yes, there is no trick. Can't do it.
No, you gotta use the slider.
In the Photos app.
No. But you see, there's two different sliders. There's the play slider and then the trim slider. It's like if I'm paused here, I want to now. I've now paused the video where I want it to start. Now I want to grab. Right, I want to grab the trim from the leftmost whatever and pull it to where I paused it.
Sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't do that. I agree.
No, it doesn't.
It's bad. It's bad design.
I don't know why you would want it. Why don't you just, when you grab the trim, as you slide, it shows you the video. So why don't you just go to where you want, and then
because it's not perfect.
But it's not precise.
Not precise.
No, I totally get. I
it's
totally
not
get
precise,
what you're coming
especially
on.
with this bullshit where I got to start it right at the start.
You don't have to start right at the start. It's fine.
The problem with the yellow
trim. What are you, Chris Apple? What the heck's going on here?
The problem with the yellow trim is that it's hard to know like where the end of it is because it's like a block that you're grabbing versus like a line. I totally get where Tuna's coming from. I agree. You should the pauses so you can get it the exact moment that you want, and then if you could just take the trim.
I turn sideways. You get a much longer timeline, and then you get a far more precise slider.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you know what? You no one's better than you. Nobody better than you.
Hold on. I'm gonna make a mental note to add that to my soundboard.
That is so fucking good. That is so fucking good.
Also,
like, the thing is like I know that Chris knows that would be good like UI design, but he's insistent. He's like, hey, turn it sideways.
Yeah, I know. I guess I've never considered doing what you're talking about.
Because
then you're timing pausing the video versus you have direct control frame. You have direct frame by frame control with that slider.
I want to just that is
sometimes it's not because
here's the thing: if you hold on the trim before you move it, it will like zoom in and like allow you to go like frame by frame.
Yeah, but also
So there's that
sometimes
trick too.
sometimes it happens when you pick your thumb up, it fucking moves. It doesn't stay in the place
Right.
that you left
Right,
it.
right.
Sometimes,
That sounds like a
sometimes you move
user
your
error.
thumb.
That sounds like a skill issue. That's a skill issue.
This
No.
is like this
That's
is
a skill
like
issue.
hang on,
No,
hang
all
on,
I'd have
hang
to-
on.
Fucking Final Cut Pro used to do this shit where you used to pause it and you could move, snap to where you were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
ridiculous, man.
it doesn't have that. This reminds me of when I was driven insane by a conversation I had with a friend who didn't know what Slack was. He's an event.
Yeah.
He's in events, right? He's in events.
In events.
He didn't
That's
know
like somebody
what.
saying I'm in shipping. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
He didn't know what Slack was, and he was like, "We do everything by email." I
Mm.
was like, "Oh," I was like, "It's so much better than email. Like it's like a
Mhm.
forum, and like there's channels and da da da." And he was like, "Well, why? What's different?" And I was explaining, and he's like, "Well, that just sounds like email. Like I have an email thread on this thing. Like I have an email chain on this thing." I'm like, "Yeah, but like it's presented in like this forum, and you can search for things more easily. You can scroll more easily. It's like a chat. It's like a big DM." And he just was not understanding why it was better than communicating the team communicating.
I
only
don't think
through
that's what
email,
this
and it
is
drove
because
me nuts.
Because the timeline scrolling is more precise than trying to time it and hit the pause and stop the video when you can just get close to it. Then you just stop and hold, as you said, Tom, and you have frame by frame control over precisely where you want to let go.
But it's not that precise.
It is.
We
It's not
need
that
to-
precise.
Tuna's
look,
not doing the zoom. He's not doing the
we
zoom. It's
have
a
it-
Not
skill
that
issue.
precise.
Listen, when I'm there,
Not that precise.
when I'm there on
Pokemon.
Friday, I'll
Also,
show you how
like
to
there's
do
like
it.
2.5, there's like 2.5 minutes of video, and it's the same goddamn thing. So I don't know exactly where it is. So I'm like, oh yeah, I think it was at the end, and then I'm moving around, I'm scrubbing.
Well, see, also,
No.
you should have trimmed the video before you uploaded it because that would also make it closer. I do that on the PlayStation. I send it to the phone.
No, then I have to turn the fucking PlayStation on. I don't got time for this. I don't have time for this. I don't have time. I do not have time.
But then
for
why
this.
did you
Hang on.
take, if
Oh
you don't have
my
time for it,
God.
then why didn't you trim it before you upload it? Because the 30 seconds is going to take you to trim it on the PlayStation.
No, I have to turn on the PlayStation, turn on the controller. You got to press X on
No,
the controller.
when you
to
recorded the
confirm.
clip.
No, because I had to do it quick. I was like, okay, let me just do a bunch of runs and then boom, 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 get the best time I can.
You
and as
just
soon
did a
as I was
bunch more
done-
runs right now? Is that
No,
what
not
we were
right
waiting
now,
for?
but before.
God.
And then I like took the headset off. I came back on my computer. I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
Oh, well, speaking of having stuff to do, let's get to the Pokemon. Christ.
Tom, this is it. This is the show.
I was walking
We should do
Zuko
the
and I
Pokemon
was
at
like,
the end.
I was like, we got to keep on track tonight. Like Tuna, we got things to talk about.
Me.
Speaking of
all of
doing
us.
things out of order, Alex, I've got you dead to rights on the thing that I told you I would put together. I didn't
Well,
put it
where is
together
it?
yet because it's going to be really annoying for me to do it. However,
Well,
so here's what I did. Here's what's wonderful, Alex, is you can do the phone podcast app on Apple is all transcribed. So the annoying thing was, and I'm going to start doing that today with this episode from now on, whenever or in the future, whenever there's presentation, I'm going to add that to the show notes because the show notes don't have any of the tell you if there's presentation on the episode. So I went through the last like 35 episodes to see if there was presentation. I saw my new, but I was able to find one. But what I realized is that I cut most of them out because a lot of the time there's about 3 to 5 minutes between the presentation starting and from when I go to transition to the presentation because there's a lot of, I have to share my screen. I'm going to get up and get a drink. I'm going to do this. And so I cut all of that. So I have to go to our live recordings. I don't save our old footage. So I have to go to all the YouTube live links that Tom has done individually so I can find them.
So you don't know for sure.
I absolutely know for sure. I know for sure.
You said you found one. You have to find 3.
I have to find 2 because
No,
that was
I wrote down 3.
Yes, the third one is the one we were talking about.
No.
Yes. Because I actually said in that episode, I know you've said it at least 2 other times, so it's 3 now.
You'll have to do that preview. You'll have to get that clip.
Yeah,
well,
I mean that might not be
I'm
verbatim,
sure.
but that is in there because
I
already have that clip. I have that clip, so we're good.
All right, we'll see.
We're good.
Unbelievable.
Right. Okay.
Today's Pokemon 404. We're talking about Garchomp. It's the evolution and final stage that began with Gibble to Gabite to Garchomp, who is the best of the name of the three. He is a more sleek and strong Gabite. He's just a bigger, faster, stronger Gabite.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.
You know, I think I thought at first that I liked Gabite better, but I actually don't know if that's true. This guy is more of a badass.
Sick. This is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And it's got a mega. The mega is really cool.
It's got a mega.
Makes more like almost like a megalodon. Like it's almost like Jurassic.
I really like the jaw on the mega because it's got that sharp jaw.
Square. Yeah, it's really cool.
It's a little bit too busy, I think, at times, the mega, but the basic isn't.
Yeah, you could probably get rid of some of these like teeth.
Yeah.
Things. But I mean it's still really cool. And yeah, I think the base version is great. Like I've been championing this line for weeks now. And here we are in the final evolution. And I feel like it's a really, really good one. Tuna seems to have a little.
We have any fun facts, some name etymology you want to get to?
Yeah, so Garchomp.
There it is.
May be a combination of its Japanese name.
Oh.
Carcharias, Chomp, and possibly Gargantuan. This is the weakest name origin I think we've ever seen. Because it says maybe a combination of its Japanese name, Carcharias, and then it also just says Chomp, and then it goes even more uncertain with and possibly Gargantuan. This may be our weakest name origin section ever.
Which it seems weird because you would think it most certainly would be Gargantuan and Chomp.
Yeah, you would think, but that's not possibly Gargantuan. So not as straightforward as you would think.
Not as straightforward. You seem to have a little bit of an allergic reaction when we was saying how much we liked it, Tuna. You seem to be like,
Need some Benadryl?
No, it's the same thing that I said. I think it's a little, I don't know. I just don't love it. I get why you do. I understand that you do. I don't.
I like it more than last week.
I really don't like them. I don't like these. I don't think that it's a good design. That's just me. You know,
it's a little busy.
I just don't like it.
Pokemon Legends Arceus says that Garchomp soars across the heavens at blinding speed. A magnificent sight. Magnificent. It has a feral disposition. Utmost caution is required if one meets Garchomp out in the wilds.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Look, it sounds like Alex is going to fight us on this. So, Tom.
No, I told you before. It's the same thing with the first stage. I get where you guys are coming from. I defer.
Its typing doesn't change, right? It's still Dragon Ground.
Yeah, it's same.
Okay. Okay, let me look at the old list here. Okay.
Oh boy.
So I mean, I think it's above I think it's the best of the three. So if I'm looking at Gabite is the highest so far of the trilogy at 17. You know what? I'd probably put this either at 11 or 12.
I was going to say at 12. I was going to suggest we stick it right above Glameow.
Yeah.
All right. It's fine.
Doesn't crack the top 10.
Yeah, no. I like that.
I like Weasel more.
I like Weasel more. Yeah, but Weasel is a good one.
Good Pokemon. Number 12. The 59th Pokemon of this generation.
It's been
less
a minute
than 50
since we've been
Pokemon
in this
left.
Kind of area. Yeah, crazy. We're 5 episodes away from 450. It's fucking nuts out here, dude.
It's wild. We're gonna make it to the 5th gen soon.
It's crazy.
Haitians are eating Pokemon.
And they're making phone calls while having a shit. It's insane. They're having phone calls. They're doing it while having a shit.
All right. Let's get into it. What's been we got Lads Weekend.
What's been going on? Getting excited for last weekend, man.
36
That's
hours.
That's all I care about.
I got
That's
a
all
little.
I care about at this
I
point.
texted you guys already. I got a little shit about doing this podcast right now because we were giving the kid a bath, and we were going in for story time, and she goes, I was like, oh, I'm doing the podcast, and she goes, doing the podcast. I was like, yeah, why? She goes, you seeing him this weekend? I'm like, yeah. And she goes, well, why are you doing the podcast? Like, isn't it enough? Like, don't you have enough of these people? Like, so I was like, no, but we have to do the episode because it comes out on Friday, so we can't. Like, I thought she was like, I thought you guys were like doing some work on the podcast this weekend. I was like, yeah,
yeah.
Oh, well, I have a feeling we'll be doing Alex's challenge live and in person. Is what I expect to happen.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It's my week.
It's your week to choose.
Oh, that's a great idea. Actually, I didn't even think of that, to do it live and in person. We should.
Hell, we could even have a gauntlet. We could each have one.
Yeah. Oh, this lines up perfectly for what I would want to do. Because I could actually do now
maybe if
the
we
Smash. You could do
something.
whatever kind of Smash thing you want.
I could do the 99 live Smash thing, the endurance mission.
That's true.
Could do it. Could do whatever I want. This is fantastic. Actually, you know what? Yeah, great. Yeah. So I was like, she was like, well, I was like, all right. Anyway, so besides that, kids started her first real preschool this week. So getting her ready in the morning. I'm doing her hair, which is crazy to me.
It is crazy, and like, not to be like, oh, it's just watching them grow up. Like, it just feels like yesterday that you didn't have a child. Like, it's madness.
Like that you were talking about getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, that would have been when I met him.
Yeah. So we wake up in the mornings. Britt's off to work early in the morning. So it's me and the kid, and getting her ready, doing the hair. I learned how to combing a girl's hair is not easy, especially when they're fucking 3 and not wanting to sit. So, but I take her to school every day, bring her over to the gate with her little backpack on. It's cute as fuck. And she walks away. She turns around and looks at me each time. And like, I'm waving at her, but she doesn't do anything. She just keeps like looking and then, walking with the aid. And then she looks back to make sure I'm, and walking with, and looks back.
What? So like almost like a lollipop person, like comes to.
It's like an intermediate. Yeah. It's just like the bus goes there to the gate. Like all the parents are dropping off kids, like depending on if you're a drop off or you're a bus kid. And then they bring them to their separate classrooms. Like there's a 3s, there's 4s. I think there's even 2s, but I'm not 100% sure.
How is she? So how's she been with that?
It's great. We've seen pictures. She looks happy. She's playing. She's, there again, they were like, oh, well, we're teaching her the letters and the numbers and stuff. I'm like, she already knows that. Remember when I told you that I thought she was smarter than me, and you actually thought she was like smarter than me now, but I was like, no, then. She busted out.
Wouldn't be so sure, but
she busted out the sign language again out of nowhere the other night. She just like was in the chair. She just starts doing it. She just looking at us, and she was like A, B, C, D, E. I'm like, what the fuck? She did them all. I was like, damn, kid.
Oh, you taught her? You guys have been teaching her?
We didn't teach her. No, we never taught her. So
what's YouTube?
She just got it either from YouTube, her previous like preschool. But
wow,
this is why I told you her memory is better than my memory at that age.
Yeah,
like you tell her one thing, she remembers it.
Yeah, gotta get her on chess.
Yeah, boom, baby. Actually, she's starting soccer tomorrow, and she's very excited about it. And I was like, "What the fuck? Since when?"
This is awesome.
And she asked me to put on soccer the other day.
Oh, there you go.
It lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but she, I took a video actually. It was pretty funny. She's like chilling in her beanbag chair, like watching soccer, and she asked for it. It was really weird. So other than the kid,
yeah,
I have been playing A little game.
Yeah.
You boys used to call Control.
Used to. We don't call it that anymore.
I've been playing this game Control, and
we call it the goat.
I gotta say, no.
Yeah. What do you gotta say? What do you gotta say?
I gotta say, it's definitely in the pantheon of greatest games I've ever played.
Wow,
this is what we said.
Holy
but you see, but Tom, like this always happens, right? Like I always say, like, oh, I got a top 5, but my top 5 is really like a top.
No,
like
I get you.
It's like Walkabout Mini Golf DLC 1 through 5. It's...
Yeah. So I would say it's a game that it's one of those.
It's Halo 3, Halo ODST, Halo Reach, Halo 2, Walkabout Mini Golf.
Oh, Chris, I forgot to tell you. I forgot to fucking tell you. When I was at Tuna's, why was it yours? Oh, we were watching the Olympics.
Yeah.
I went over to Tuna's. We were in his basement, and I was like sitting at his desk, and I look over, and next to his desk, he has 12x9 posters of Halo 3,
the display,
Halo
the metal
Reach,
one,
Halo
right?
ODST. And I went to Tuna. I was like, when we asked you that question, did you just look up there and rattle them off? And he is like, yep. Anyway, okay.
Incredible.
So you've been playing a little game. It's in the pantheon.
Yeah, it's definitely so. It's one of those games that has me thinking when I'm not thinking about it when I'm not playing it, has me thinking about the story when I'm not playing it, and has me not only collecting things to collect them, but also to read them, to watch them, to listen to them. They have created this story that I'm very engrossed in, very like I'm like they got me, right? Yeah. And I got to tell you, sound design. Ooh. Okay, when you pull an object towards you and then throw it, that sound, that whole thing,
I can hear it in my head right now.
Yeah. Like the pull is like incredible. It is.
Dude, when you walk into a new area and the text just goes boom, like control, or like you're in the furnace or whatever, like
But they've done a really good job. This is like I texted you guys like within the first hour of playing, and I was like, it's got a little bit of Lost, a little bit of Fringe, a little bit of Severance, a little bit of like I actually would love to work in this building.
I think I called
this
it
building
if Lost,
is right
if,
up.
I think I called it if Lost and Stranger Things had a baby.
Yeah,
like
Lost, Stranger
it's
Things,
very Fringe.
It's very
Fringe is basically Lost meets Stranger Things.
I am loving it. I'm loving it, and I really
show,
really enjoy it. I think it's an amazing game.
Lance Reddick's in Fringe. That was what I.
Yeah, you're a Lance Reddick boy. The only thing that I would say, and I think it's always with these kinds of games, is that the shooting is okay. Yeah, the shooting's fine, but other than that, like the levitation, I'm not, right? Game's fucking 5 years old. But the fact that like powers. It's incredible.
But last week you thought he was spoiling Prometheus from 2012.
Well, he was.
Beep.
Okay.
So anyway, so the fact that like there's like live action and then they have like videos and audio clips and all this, it's just so good. Like
it's so good.
I actually feel like I'm in it. You know, it's just it's amazing. And I'm toward the end now, so I'm very happy. And Alan Wake has been referenced in it. So now
you've got
like
the DLC,
excited.
which you should play, I think, before you do Alan Wake.
You should do the DLC. Is
all right. I'm excited to play Alan Wake. I'm more excited to play Alan Wake 2 now after playing this.
Yep. You should be
100%.
So much more excited to play that. And I would just say, like, the puzzles are good. Like they're good puzzles. Like the little tiny little puzzles.
There's some brain scratches and some of the like off the beaten path stuff.
Yeah, some are really good. Other than that, like it's a great game, and I always like test the game, like not test the game, but I always feel like I rank my games on how much I'm, thinking about it when I'm not playing it. Like how badly do I want to, like I'm laying in bed at 11 o'clock at night. How badly do I want to get up, go to the basement, and play a little bit?
Yeah,
like it was the same thing with like God of War. When I was playing that, it was the same thing with The Last of Us. I was like, oh fuck, I just want more time to play. It's one of those games where I feel like I could play it for hours and not get bored. So I'm really enjoying it.
Regarding you added some music to our lads playlist.
Yeah, there's actually some pretty good music in this fucking game.
Oh, is it all from the game? That's so funny.
You know, the acting by the guy who's Casper Darling is fucking good.
Yes.
He was nominated for best performance or I think
good.
Game Awards, yeah.
And you know what? It's amazing to see how far we have come. That I'm playing a game that looks phenomenal, and then I'm watching in the game a projector screen put a live action image on the wall. It's just right.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's amazing.
It's incredible what we got.
I cannot wait for you to
he's gonna
play Alan Wake.
He's gonna love it. I mean, Alex,
yeah,
Alex, 100%. Like, I promise you. You and I don't really play horror games. I don't. It's not my thing. And Alan Wake 2 is one of the best video games I've ever played.
Either.
It's all right. And I'll tell you this. This is the thing I did tell you. For as much as the gameplay and control is a lot better than Alan Wake's, like the shooting's fine. The gameplay, the actual combat in Alan Wake's like fine. It's not that drop off in like gameplay quality is made up for by how much better they actually do the story stuff in Alan Wake 2 than they even do it in Control. Like everything you like in Control right now feels like the beta for what they ended up getting to in Alan Wake 2. It's so fucking good.
You know what I really appreciate.
I think you could play Control in story mode. I think Alan Wake 2.
Same.
I think you put Alan Wake 2 on the fucking easiest difficulty, and you could it wouldn't even matter. The game would still be fun.
I was gonna say, like, even with Control, like you could get rid of the guns and just have me doing like
the powers and
like
stuff.
The powers, and I would have a great time.
I was gonna say that like the gunplay is so, but like the powers just feel so good, and like
the powers
you're constantly
the gun looks cool,
juggling this, and the gun is cool with its transforming things.
It does.
Yeah.
The combination of that with the powers, I think, like elevates it so that the gunplay isn't great, but I would say like the gameplay is really solid.
Yep.
I also loved how, like, at the very start of the game, you're like, what am I doing here? What is going on? And then they immediately like shift the building on you. Like, you're walking around, you go down a corridor, you're like, wait a minute, didn't I just come from here? And you go back the other way. It's like, wait, it's not. It's different.
Really cool.
It's really good the way they do it right at the gate, right out the gate. And you know, you're made okay, I'll just say whatever. Spoilers, you know, who gives a shit? You're made director, and you're like, wait, how is she director? She's director now of this agency. She just walked in the front door just 2 seconds ago. What the fuck are you talking about? So it's and the way the story unravels, like a fucking it's great. It's great. And I will say I appreciate this about the game a lot. Is the level design, or just the design itself, in the fact that you go almost in every case.
Great corridors, another great corridor game.
Great corridor game. Great corridor game. But what I was going to say is that what I really appreciate is you go through an entire level, and then you get to the end, and there's a door, and you're almost right back where you started.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
I love
the way it unfolds, you traversing and exploring the oldest house is really fucking sick, especially if you do side content and like you find out like how they all connect. I know a lot of people complain about like the map in the game. I didn't actually have a problem with it. I felt like the game, I didn't really look at the map too much. Like,
I never
especially
I look at the map
like,
to get a general direction of where it is, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to go that way.
And they have signs and everything. Like, it's all
There's
like
signs
literally
everywhere.
signposted in the game.
Right.
I'm so happy that you're enjoying it as much as you are, and that we didn't overhype it for you.
No. You didn't overhype.
Fantastic.
Loving it.
Fantastic.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Done.
I went to go see Beetlejuice. Chris, did you see it?
No.
Beetlejuice.
No, I did not see Beetlejuice.
Why not, Christian?
Oh, he went to club.
Oh, well, no, we'll get to that if you want to do Beetlejuice first.
Yeah, I was at Disney.
Okay.
Talk about talk about Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I'll do Beetlejuice real quick. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As someone that had only really I definitely had seen it as a kid, but I don't remember it too well. I think I was very scared, so I was kind of like watching it like this kind of thing. By the way, audio listeners, holy man, it's in front of my face. I saw it for the first time really this year, properly, and the first one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And this to me was everything I could want from a sequel in that story. I think that what's the name of the young actress who is playing Winona Ryder's kid? She played Wednesday
Jenna
Addams.
Ortega.
Jenna Ortega, yes, thank you very much. She is fantastic in it. Obviously, you know, you can look at her and be like, oh yeah, she'd fit in a Beetlejuice, but like she just does such a great performance. There are so many fun twists and turns, like the first movie, and like the way it kind of structures itself and pays homage to what the first movie is, with storylines and bits and like iconic moments. And I think this movie has a ton of great references to that movie, but also really building some honestly worthy moments. There are some set pieces in this movie that I feel like are on par with how good some of the set pieces were in the first film. And I appreciated that it also retained a lot of its physical nature. Like we see a lot of the underworld area that is, that is explored in the first movie. We see a lot more of that, and that's all real sets. There's a lot of stop motion, things like that. My only complaint is there's quite a number of storylines, and they're all like A storylines. Like Beetlejuice has his own thing, Jenna Ortega has a storyline, Winona Ryder has a storyline, and so there's just like a lot of characters and a lot of, okay, now we're with this story, now with this story. But overall, thoroughly enjoyed it and had a really fun time with it. And then game wise, I've mostly been playing Astrobot. And I have nothing really more to say than it is a phenomenal platformer. It is so much fun. I constantly have a smile on my face. The powers and abilities that you get, like the number of times I've been like, oh, that's really fucking neat. And I've just been like, there's some really clever things. And you guys, I think one of the things really resonated with you for It Takes Two is how often you would have a power and the game would be like, okay, you've done this thing, now we're going to do a new thing with the power. Yeah. And there was this kind of constant churn. It always felt like you were doing something new. This game has a lot of that as well that I really like.
Seems a lot like it's modeled after like Mario Odyssey in a way.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm personally enjoying this more than Odyssey. In many, I mean, it's been a while since I played that, but a lot of people are saying this is one of the best platformers ever. And as someone who is not a diehard platformer, I've played them all, just kind of casually enjoys them. This is definitely there for me with that. And all the collecting, Tuna, you're gonna love that. Like you're collecting all the bots. The more bots you have, when you get back to your hub world, you can unlock areas there and do things. The more bots you have, and it's almost a little bit like what's the one with Pikmin, where you have them do things, like you have the Pikmin pick something up and move it, or you have them push something, and the more Pikmin you have, the more options are available. There's a lot of like that, and it's just really imaginative and really fun. And there's also some surprising challenge. The main missions and stuff aren't that difficult, but like the hidden levels that you find, and most levels have a alternate ending like path that you can find. So you have, instead of stepping on the platform, there's a hidden platform, and that takes you to like an extra level, and those are tougher. So there's there is somewhere I'm like, fuck, like I have to be really precise with the stuff. So phenomenal game. I think both of you will when you get around to it, will really thoroughly enjoy this one. And honestly, it's one of my favorite games that I've played this year. It's in my pantheon of best games this year for sure.
I mean, I would say
that was good, Tom.
These like 4 weeks straight are like almost probably guaranteed to have my game of the year between Star Wars, Astrobot, Zelda, and Lucky Squire. Yeah, a very good chance. Throw Balatro into that mix. That's probably
Balatro on mobile.
Balatro.
Yeah, I'm very excited for
Apple Arcade, so I'm gonna finally get into it.
Yeah,
I'll check it out properly.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the hell out of that again once it's on mobile. That will probably, along with Walkabout Mini Golf, which has the new mobile version of Walkabout Mini Golf, free open beta. You should download it because you can play all the DLC for free as well.
Okay.
It's so sick now being able to play vertical orientation and use the touch. The touch controls work so well. It's going to make this a way better game and companion app for people that have like, oh, you have VR at home. You can play locally. Someone can be on VR and you can just, because it's
really
crossplay
dope.
with VR. It's, oh my God, this is going to crush on mobile, I think. It's so awesome. It's so much fun.
I'm excited to hear that.
Harder, I have found. I mean, I'm sure over time maybe I would get there, but easier, I think, to play in VR than with the touch controls. But the touch controls are very good. But you know, I've played so much at this point. It's easier to actually hit the ball than it is to use the touch controls.
Oh, in VR it's easier.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Club 33.
Club 33. So we went. Today's our first day out of the heat wave. Yesterday was day 7 above 100 degrees. Friday, day of the heat wave, I think it hit 106. Teresa and I get there first, right? And we go to California Adventure. So it's a very hot day. We get there basically at opening because when we got there at 8 a.m., it was already over 80 degrees, you know, but the sun wasn't out. So like really wasn't like up beating down on you yet. So it felt okay. It felt fine. It wasn't evil yet. Our friends John and Katie were running late because they were there for their birthday. And so they took a hotel out and they were there the day before. So they woke up late and we're like, we'll meet you there. Teresa and I did the Guardians Tower 4 different times in a row.
Very nice.
It was sick because we knew they were running behind. So we were like, oh, let's go get Starbucks first. And then we'll like, you know, we'll go do a ride. And Guardians was down. So by the time we walked over to it, it was like 8:40 or whatever. And it opened like right as we were walking up. So we just walked right in, got out, got on the line again. The third time we went through the line, it was like only a 20-minute wait at that point.
It's that good, eh?
Oh my God. Well, okay. So the Guardians ride is the Tower of Terror ride, rethemed with Guardians. And one of the best things about it is it's, first of all, you didn't do this ride. I take it.
No, I haven't gone.
Right. Okay.
I didn't get it. There was a long wait. It was like
it's Teresa's favorite ride by far.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's very, very good. And it's, if you've never done Tower of Terror, it's like an elevator that goes up and down very fast. So it like takes you to the top and it drops you and then it shoots you up. And then, so not only is the drop scary, but the like up is too, because you're flying up and then you stop and it kind of makes you lift and come down. The storyline going through it is like amazing. It's, you're in the collector's like location and he has all his collections there. So the first place you walk through, they have like Ultron there. They have all of the fucking coolest weapons in Guardians universe and like the Marvel universe all in there. And then Rocket, this amazing like animatronic rocket puppet shows up. And the storyline is you're trying to help them escape the collector. And when it starts, he plugs in the cassette player for the volume mix, and there's 6 different rides they have programmed. Each one has a different song. And so we ended up getting to hear 4 of the different tracks by riding it again. If you get Live Free, that's the best one. It was, I would say, the worst song of the 4, but it was by far the most intense of the ride. So, and then at night they have a Halloween one where like the monsters invaded and shit like that. So we did it again. We did it a 5th time because we did it later with John and Katie.
Amazing.
Where it's just, and that was also cool. But while we're in line, this lady comes up to us and she's like, starts talking to Therese. Poor Therese got stuck talking to this single rider for like 15 minutes.
Blue hair.
Yeah, blue hair. It was 106 degrees out that day. It was unbelievably hot. That pavement was punishing. Like we would go from ride to ride, stay as cool as possible. Club 33 was at noon. So afterwards we went and we took a break, went back to hotel, and then came back once it had cooled off. We basically took a few hours off, came back.
You were staying at a hotel?
Yeah, we stayed overnight at the hotel.
Gotcha.
Because we knew it was like an all-day thing and it was going to be so hot. It was like I'm going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
We did
No,
32,000 steps. Like we were dead by the end of the day with that heat too.
Yep.
So when you get to Club 33, first of all, it's in the New Orleans district. It's so hidden, you would have no idea. There's no signage for it or anything, but on like one of the, like wall doors, like some of them, are only employee access, it looks like. So it's like clear, like you can't see what's in there. So it just looks like an employee access store or a fake facade. It's not like a shop or anything. That we were just, I thought we were just standing there for shade. And when our time was up, our friend went over to the side of the door and there was a small little like hidden push button, and you press it and you speak into it and they ask you, they're like, you tell them like the phrase, like you tell them you're here and they ask you like for your info to make sure that you have a reservation. Then the door opens, someone comes and lets you in, which I thought was so weird because she starts talking to someone like through the little like secret intercom, and it was like behind what someone was leaning on. So these people were just like this like family who was just trying to hide in the shade, was just like completely unaware, like I was, the fact that there was something right behind us the whole time. And this is where things got interesting. So you come in, it was ice cold in here. It was that, first of all, that alone was worth the price of admission for how expensive that meal was. Walking out of that 100-degree temperature, absolutely crowded and loud. You walk inside there, it's sort of we're in a small semi-enclosed room. The door was open, but then there's an open stairwell, which is like really like nice and fancy and has this like long circular stairway that goes up into the club. When you're in that little courtyard area, they are pumping so much AC into there. Even though the roof is open and you are outside, it was nice and cool in there. It was like we were standing outside in the 160-degree weather and it felt like 75. It was like I can't imagine the cost for just keeping that area alone cold, let alone all of these places. But you could go, as you would expect, Alex, to a fancier restaurant in any major city in the US for the same amount of money and get a better meal.
Sure.
However, the thing they did, which I didn't anticipate and makes complete and perfect sense once you think about it for a moment, made it like you do this once for the experience kind of thing and made it totally worth it for me. It's the like movie version of what a fancy restaurant is. It's like what like Richie Rich would go to in a restaurant, or like Blank Check, where like what a kid thinks a fancy restaurant is like. It had all the like trappings of things that aren't necessarily in most like expensive restaurants. So you come in and the first thing they did, they came out to us with like a silver platter, and everyone in there that's working is like in like a full like very fancy like almost like tuxedo kind of like get up, hair is all slicked, and they have these cool towels that were wet, and she's handing us all out cool towels, and then another person comes out while she's leaving and they were like, here are your teas, and they were these very like cold, no ice in them, like crystal glasses. I don't know what kind of tea this was, but it was very good. It was this like incredibly mild, light, like flowery, like herbal tea. It was very good though, and I'm not even a tea guy, and I was like, oh, this is actually it's actually very good. Yeah, they came out again. We're like, do you want anything else? Can I get to another? Just like someone would come, someone go in one door, out another, just like bringing us things. And then someone comes down the stairs and it's like, it is time to bring you up into the club. And so that person comes up and starts taking us through a tour of like the walkway and everything. And when we get in there are like a lot of things that were like, so they were like, so this piano that you see here is the piano that's in, that she plays in Mary Poppins. This is the one that was used in the movie. So like cool set props of things that like no one else has access to see. There's the members only lounge where like you can only go in with the member with you to take you in, and that's like the wall is like filled with like liquor and alcohol, and that's like it looks like a old-fashioned like 60s smokers kind of lounge, like smokers lounge bar.
Okay.
And then they give us the tour, they explain why Club 33 exists, which was so that Disney could have a liquor license. They had to have a specific location within the park. And so it was named after like the street that Walt was like working on, and like where the club was that he would go to when he was working on like the World's Fair stuff. If I remember correctly, so that's where they got the 33 from. Whereas now she was like, you can get drinks at places like at the Star Wars area and California Adventure, but there isn't a lot of alcohol in Disneyland. There's a lot in California Adventure, but in Disneyland, there's only a few select places you can get alcohol. So then they take us to our seat. I have a bag with me, And she
Okay.
pulls out what I can only describe as like, Alex, the fancy footstool that Greg got on Taskmaster as a gift.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
We
like
had
that,
that at
and puts it next to my seat to like put my bag
yeah.
on.
We had that one time when
That's
Brittany and I went to New
fucking
Orleans.
hilarious.
We went to a fancy restaurant in New Orleans. They brought that out for Brittany and her friend, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, that
is
makes sense
this?
because this is a New Orleans. Like
Yeah.
this is in the New Orleans
This is
district.
just something that they do.
I don't know if
in
it's a
New
New Orleans thing,
Orleans.
but when we went to a
it might
fancy
have-
New Orleans
yeah.
restaurant,
Amazing.
that came out, and me and the husband of Brittany's friend were both like, "What the fuck?"
Yep. And then they bring another one out for their bags and put them next to it. So like we have our seats, we have these little. The table itself was like padded and plush, which I realized was so that no one could make loud noises, like by putting a cup down too loud or anything. Everything was. It was like all these like little things were designed to like keep it from being too like loud and keeping it like quiet in there. And it was just the amount I've never. I mean, nowadays you go to a restaurant. Even when I go to like a nicer restaurant, like service is not what it used to be.
No,
I find
Amazing.
we must have had like 6 different people tending to our table. Like it was like one person came and like brought in our menus, and another person was coming over and then placed our silverware for us, and that like it was just
Did
it
Bob
was very
Iger
much
come out and wipe your ass too, or
Anyway.
This is what was wild about it was like this is what you imagine.
Ice?
No, this is what you imagine though, like the fancy restaurant. It's like in like a movie where they're making the fancy restaurant. They gave you that. It's like literally the Disney experience of fancy restaurant. And then it's a 3-course meal. Like it's a flat rate for the meal. Everyone pays the same amount, so you just pick the 3 things you want, and then they bring it out to you. I got a very good salad. I got a very good pasta. I thought my pie was good to okay.
What pie?
Personally, I got a pie.
Oh,
I got a chocolate pie.
oh.
I found it too rich. Personally, ooh. I thought it would have been a bit sweeter and lighter, and it was a bit more of a like
little gold flecks on top.
It did. It had yes, it did. It had gold flecks on it. Yes, it did. It absolutely did.
Of course, it did.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, so that was
cool.
It was cool. It was cool. And then, dude, after being in there for like an hour and a half, stepping outside into Disneyland.
Do they kick you out?
Well, we finished our meal and then we left. Yeah, like I imagine.
So if you're a member, could you just hang out in there? Is there like a lounge that you can just hang
there's
out
a separate.
in,
there's the other
allowed?
lounge you could go
there's the
to.
members lounge.
Yeah, there's the members lounge. Yeah. Which I found out like a lot of the members are actually businesses. Like the owner of a business will own the membership because then they can just give.
Yeah.
So like that makes more sense.
It does.
To an extent. I mean, it's still absurd, but that's what all these country clubs are like. So, but yeah, it was cool. It was cool to go do it once. I wouldn't do it again. But it was like really cool to do it once. Never thought I'd be going there. It came up last second.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Briefly, because it's been talked about a lot, just say I'm still playing Star Wars, and I'm so into it. I am so into this game. I'm so into my character. Tom, I'm kind of a big deal in the underworld. Let me tell you. The main story has been a lot of fun. But I really dig a lot of the side quests, similar to like when I played Control and Alan Wake. Like I read all the data pads, I read all the lore stuff that comes up, especially because with the Star Wars game, like the lore I'm reading is probably telling me where like a treasure is or what like a side quest mission is. So you kind of want to know what's going on because those things aren't as fun if you're not like a part of the story. I'm a little bummed that I'm getting close to the end. Like pretty soon I have very few items left, like quests to upgrade anything. I've maxed out my ship. I have only 2 upgrades left on my speeder. My gun is the only thing where there's like a few upgrades left. I have almost all the abilities unlocked. So very soon I'm going to be just finishing the story. So I imagine I'll be finishing it maybe not before next week's episode because of Lads Weekend. I'm not really going to be able to play after, the daytime, I guess, tomorrow at all. But yeah, that's I love it. I love it.
I'm glad that it's I knew it would tick your box, but it's a big old fat fucking check.
Yeah.
They stamp that shit, dude.
I like it way more than I thought, to be honest. I like it a lot more than I thought I would.
I love that.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And me and Java are cool now. Like, I'll say this. There was one mission with Java where I've played. So one thing that's dragged my time out with this game to be a lot longer than I think it needs to be is I have been very purposeful to not fuck up any of the stealth. I've only like gotten caught, like I've only alerted things a couple times and never on the like you cannot alert like instant fail. But on things where like it's going to cost me reputation or the Empire is going to have to come after. It's only happened a couple times, and that takes way longer. It takes a lot more time to do those missions. Those missions could be like half an hour, or they could be like over an hour if you want to go, slow and steady. Which I enjoy being in that world so much that I am just savoring it. There was one mission where they made it personal. They made it real personal for me. With this, with what I had to go do in this mission, and I did not give one fuck about being stealth when I was going on a rescue mission for something in the game, for someone in the game, and I killed everyone, the men, the women, children,
the children.
Anyone. So much so, Tom, that like I was entering areas that like you were definitely not supposed to like fight all these dudes. Like you really were supposed to stealth it. And I would go out of my way to just sabotage. Like I'd have to get over to and break the alarms. Because I couldn't do it the easy way, Tom. And just so that I could then kill everyone in the room.
Jesus Christ.
I would just like, because I can alert them all. I was like, now that your alarm's broken, now you're really fucked. Because now you're trapped in here with me. Is actually how that went down.
Incredible.
Oh,
I love
it was so
that.
good. It was so good. I love it. So yeah,
that's funny. That's
so there we go.
Are you is your plan Astrobot after this, or Plucky Squire will be out? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'll probably look at time to beat. I'll probably look at how long to beat for the two and pick based on that. And then I think the other one will probably wait till after Zelda. One of those two games will probably wait till after Zelda. My guess is I'll probably go with Astrobot because you're playing it and Alex might play it. But Alex might want to run right into Alan Wake 2 before Zelda comes out. So
I want to play Plucky though.
Yeah.
But do you want to play what if it's Plucky or
like
Astrobot?
I'm good.
I'm
good with taking a break from the Wake universe.
Sure.
Also, if you push Wake a little bit, you could time it up perfectly for like Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Like if you do Control, maybe you do the DLCs too, and then you play like one or two of these like fun little games. It'll be spooky season. Although,
which Alex, you heard this news, but you didn't care about it at the time. But now you will. Remedy and Annapurna have now come together, and Annapurna is going to be producing Control 2 and future Remedy stuff with the Alan Wake Control universe, and they're also going to be making live action shows and/or films with those.
They just said they'd be helping movies. I wonder if they'll even
Alan Wake 2 would be incredible as a show.
I agree that they could simply adapt something. I think because they're trying to build out the Remedy connected universe, and we know that like the next game is going to be Control, Control sequel, and then they'll want to do another Alan Wake right after. I feel like they'll create something original, and they'll have an original TV show that's set or movie or whatever, because then it isn't just Alan Wake and Control kind of going back and forth. They're expanding it, so it's
you could go either way. It's like they have such a good story that's seen by so few people because of the medium that like that story, if it was just the story, would also be amazing. I could see either argument for that. Either one's gonna be cool.
It's totally possible. But yeah, no, it's I'm very excited to see what happens there.
Sometimes when they do these adaptations, then you get something that's not as good, and then you're like, well, why didn't you just make the thing people wanted, which was the story that's already very good? And so, so I mean, look at Borderlands. Like, the fuck was I mean, look, doing a better story in Borderlands would have helped, but it still wouldn't have saved just based on the production.
What a fucking awful movie that was.
But like, why didn't they just do the story? Because the story of Borderlands way better than that piece of shit we got. It's way better than that piece of shit that we got.
Yeah.
Thing was a big old dumperoonie. Anything else? We go to news.
Nope.
News, baby. Real quick before we get into news, we do have Slater in the chat. Thank you for joining us live, Slater. He did drop a little comment when you were talking, Chris, about Walkabout Mobile on your phone. He said, I can tell you, as someone new to the game and mobile only, I didn't find it intuitive, but it is no doubt fun. So we got Slater, also one of the beta testers for
yeah, I could see that.
Mini golf. Okay, so the
UI needs a lot of polish. It's just right now the UI, especially, is
beta,
like just
right?
yeah. This is the first time they did the touch controls. The last time you had to like tilt to hit the ball, and that was like way less intuitive. But yeah, I think I could see why he would say that. I think if you haven't played it in VR, you would probably be wondering why you can't look around the map and do things you would expect to be able to do. But yeah.
Copy. So the big news this week, we finally have a PlayStation 5 Pro. It has been announced. Witness Play Unleashed is the tagline for $700. Before we get to the price, let's talk about the console itself. So they had Mark Cerny, creator of Knack, and also architect of PlayStation
Marble
4
Madness
and the PlayStation 5 and Marble Madness. Developer story, very smart developer. He talks about
Marble Madness featured in The Wizard.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Looking more like Dana Carvey every day. So they have 3 things that they were targeting. He called them the big 3. There is a bigger GPU. So it has 67 more compute units, and its memory is about 28% faster. And overall, this enables up to around 45% faster rendering for gameplay. So just better graphic horsepower. They are trying to do some advanced ray tracing techniques on their website. It says that rays can be cast at double and at times triple the speeds of the current PS5. And then the last thing is really the big thing is they have their own kind of version of NVIDIA's DLSS. They call it PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. So this is similar technology where it's natively running at a lower resolution, but it's using this kind of like AI-driven super resolution to make it look like, 4K. Essentially, what they're trying to do is blur the lines between the performance and fidelity modes. So every game apparently is going to be able to implement this differently. So they've said that some will have like a PS5 Pro mode. Some of them will just have improved fidelity performance modes. And if you're running in a performance mode that's targeting higher frame rates, it's going to look better, and vice versa. If you're targeting fidelity, if you're trying to get the best visuals, it's going to run better and have more frames than on a base PS5. It also has something called Game Boost, which is going to apply to, and PS4 Pro did a similar thing here, where basically even if a game isn't specifically given a PS5 Pro update, it's still going to do some back-end stuff to make other games run better. So like all of your back catalog PS4 games that aren't going to get updates are still going to get a little bit of an improvement. Games that are coming out this fall or that already exist. The current list that we have so far, Alan Wake 2 will have an actual dedicated PS5 Pro update. Assassin's Creed Shadows, Demon's Souls, Dragon's Dogma 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the big one for me because Final Fantasy VII is the one that really Rebirth specifically really struggles, where when you run it in performance mode, you get adequate frames, but it looks really blurry. And when you have it in fidelity mode, it really struggles to hit even 30 frames per second. So that is the one game out of all of these where I'm like, that game actually could use the extra hardware. Hogwarts Legacy, Horizon, Spider-Man 2, Last of Us Part 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo 7 actually on a PS5 will have an 8K mode. They will have a mode that can do 8K if you have the TV for it and all the correct cabling and all that jazz. Now here's the real kicker. It's very expensive for a console. $700 and I think that's the cheapest price out of all of the regions. It's like €800, which is like almost $1,000. It's £700, which is like almost $1,000 as well. So it's very expensive. Does include a 2 terabyte SSD, so bigger storage. Does not have a disk drive. If you want a disk drive, you have to buy the external disk drive, which kind of brings the price closer to $800. And it comes out the 7th. Pre-orders begin September 26th. November 7th is when it comes out. Pre-orders begin September 7th. November 7th is when it launches.
No, when do pre-orders?
Oh, September 26th.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's here. It's gonna play some games better, but it's kind of wild that it is. It's actually funny, Chris, because Patrick Ellers, host of what's his Nintendo podcast?
Nintendo Card Society.
Nintendo Card Society. He and I were chatting on Twitter about this, and he made a good point. He was like, "Look, usually." Around this time, halfway through the generation, these things get like a price drop, right? Like they'll get $100 off permanently. And Patrick was like, that hasn't happened, right? The base PS5 is still $550. It actually
the Switch is still $300.
Switch never really got a permanent price drop. I think that for a limited time, Xbox Series X had a price drop, but that was just a supply thing. I think it's back up to $500. They even have a 2 terabyte version that's $600 now. Excuse me. But yeah, he was like, well, it never got a price drop, so it can't be like the PS4 Pro, where the PS4 Pro came out and was $400, which was the original launch price of the original PlayStation 4. So it had to be more expensive than that. And then, if you added $100, I mean, this is without the disk drive, so it is a big jump no matter how you slice it. But the PS4 Pro itself was a minuscule percentage. It was like something like 12-14% of all PS4 sales, and analysts are kind of guessing that this will be around there as well. Yeah. I assume neither of you guys are planning on picking one up.
No, I'm still getting one for sure.
Oh, you're gonna get one? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
just when GTA comes out, I'm gonna get it for GTA.
Yeah,
it probably won't be able to support 60 frames per second, or maybe it will, but it'll be better. It'll be better. My guess is we'll get a 40 frames per second mode.
That would be sweet. 40 frames is nice.
With like good quality, but you'd still have like a checkered box, probably 4K with like, good quality.
Yeah.
Which is because otherwise like GTA is probably going to be a 30 FPS game,
100%.
Because they're going to push it to do whatever. So like I'm going to want to play that game on the better hardware. So I'll just sell my current one, which I have,
exactly. Yeah.
I have more memory in it, so I'll be paying, I should be able to sell it for enough so that I'm basically paying half the price.
Yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, I forgot I installed 2 terabytes as well, so like yeah, you can probably get more, because I think like a refurb PS5 is like $400 still, like, because the price never came down.
Exactly.
So,
right.
Yeah. So I mean, I am planning to, like I said, I still have a lot of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that I've been getting through, and I'm always thinking about it. And I'm like, I'll just wait until this fucking thing comes out and continue it there, because the presentation was unfortunately because they were all using first-party games, right? They used Ratchet and Clank, they used Last of Us, games that no one is like complaining about how they like really perform or look visually. So I was watching the Digital Foundry guys, and they were talking about like, yeah, it would have been really great to like see something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Alan Wake 2, which just didn't run particularly well on consoles, maybe showing that off, what that upgrade looks like. That could be a better selling point than like his Ratchet and Clank, one of the best looking games ever. And we're going to try and convince you that Spider-Man 2 as well, similar situation. But GTA will be the interesting one because GTA will not be coming to PC, so it's not like you have that option.
Exactly.
And Xbox is seemingly not doing a pro model this year. Maybe Xbox's next console is closer to, GTA gets delayed, maybe, but no one's going to wait for a new Xbox to play GTA. So this is maybe Sony thought, I kind of posited, I was like, it is something that people brought up when there were rumors that Xbox was considering leaving the hardware space. And people were like, well, if Sony doesn't have any competition, like what's stopping them from being like, hey, we're the only premium console on the market, so you have to pay these high prices. And whether this is coincidence or not, we are seeing that they are, a lot of people are theorizing, are we testing the waters for what next gen is going to cost? Like, is $700 going to be the norm that they're going to expect people to pay for PS6? I don't think so, but I don't think that we're going to see like PlayStation 6 even at 500. Like, I think it will probably be a $600 box.
Or to be 5 and 6.
But yeah, for like if they have a dip, but the PS5 Pro doesn't have a disc option. I really think it's
but that's also, I think, just a pipeline thing. They're only going to sell, maybe around 10%, give or take a couple of percent of these compared to the other.
Sure.
So it's for them to have 2 SKUs of it is just going to make it more expensive and lower, the returns.
They already make the external disk drive. So Tuna, thoughts?
It's too expensive for me.
Too expensive for your blood. He's got a kid to send to school.
I mean, take a look at what the fucking preschool costs. Ridiculous. Anyway, next,
Walkabout Mini Golf has new DLC, which we would normally be talking about because we'd be playing it normally.
What do you mean? It was incredible.
Okay, I see.
It was incredible. Go out and buy it now. Support this fucking team.
Mars Gardens.
Buying their shit. It looked amazing.
Yeah, so last week they posted an image. Mars Gardens coming next week, like they love to do, just new level drop random. So there's still 2 more to come this year though, which is great. Alex and I assumed, we both had the same thought, like, so one thing they said is they're probably going to go kind of on and off with like the like contraption, like more difficult, like kind of crazy courses, and then the like what they call more like Zen courses. So this should be like a more calm Zen thing. And so we were thinking like, all right, well, like it's cool. Maybe there'll be like some mild gravity stuff, but like we're both thinking like just going to be a big rocky, kind of like desert vista on Mars.
Yep.
Trailer pops up, blew me away. Completely different from what I expected. It all takes place in, sort of like a habitat, like a space hab, and it's it's like a biodome, and it looks incredible. Like the art is that sort of like NASA punk meets like Art Deco kind of design. It looks like very simple, but also like very style. It looks so fucking cool. Very excited to play that tomorrow during the daytime, during tea time.
We played yesterday.
Probably going to be a great club.
Oh, it's just gonna be an amazing day.
Yeah, probably gonna be
an amazing day.
Very excited. Very excited for that.
Can't wait.
Tom, anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. Konami has confirmed that they are working on Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2. We got Volume 1 last year, which was basically Metal Gear Solids 1, 2, and 3. And basically Konami has said, look, all those games got HD ports for PS3 and things like that. So it was very easy to kind of bring those ports over just to the new consoles. However, things like there are several games that could potentially be in Volume 2 that do not have HD versions, and so they're trying to figure out apparently like how like what they're going to do there. So it sounds like Volume 2 will not be anytime imminent, and I know a lot of people are really hoping that it comes out soon, because the only way to play really Metal Gear Solid 4 is to play it on PlayStation 3. It's kind of really trapped to that console, so people are hoping that will get brought over. So that's the only other real little bit of news.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for that, Tom.
You're welcome.
Alex, you want to go send me your clip?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Clip, baby, yeah.
In the meantime, Tom, you can take a gander at the video I sent of Abe's watching some soccer.
Okay.
Some soccer. It's just like chilling. She's like a freaking teenager.
No,
wow, she's into it. She's into it.
Yeah.
I love the clip is just like a guy running.
I know.
Like just like
well, because I wanted to get
jog.
it because I wanted to get it before she decided she didn't want to watch it anymore. Because I wanted to show my cousin's husband is like a big soccer player.
What matches you even in this Turkey?
I don't even know, dude. I just turned out. She was like, soccer. I want to watch
Tunisia
soccer.
versus
Yeah. So I was like, all right, fine. So I'm just like searching through YouTube, like looking for any match. I'm just like, here, watch this.
I'll tell you what, World Cup is in 2 years' time.
Mm.
Oh, it's here as well.
She's still into it?
And it's here as well.
Yeah. If she's into it, yeah. We'll see.
Fuck, hell yeah.
We'll see.
I'm excited. That's going to be great.
Kid's got a lot of energy. This kid loves to run around, kick balls. So
that's great.
This will be good for her. This and gymnastics have been great.
Before we jump into the next segment, Slater commented again. He said the bridge between mid-tier PCs and consoles is shortening. I just always thought it would be PCs getting cheaper, not consoles getting more expensive. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like even still like $700, $800, what the PS5 Pro is going to be able to do is can outperform, the game capabilities of pretty much anything in that price range on PC. However, PC has additional utility, and PCs, once you get into the high hundreds, you can get a PC that can like play a modern game. It's not going to look exceptional, but it's going to run shit. So, if it keeps climbing, that's I think where you start. Once it crosses that 1,000 threshold, if it ever were to, that's when I think you can start being like, okay, well, PC.
I think, Tom, that there's another part of this that people are leaving out, which is that these consoles at a time were like once loss leaders, and then they were like, we're going to try and sell them for a profit, and then it seems like with this generation they kind of landed somewhere in between, where they might have been losing some money at first or not really making a whole lot. But let's not forget that these consoles launched during the pandemic, and then with chip prices and everything else, there's almost guaranteed the fact that these consoles were being sold at a loss, which is why a lot of people, like in America, our PlayStation didn't get more expensive, but in a lot of other countries,
they
did get more expensive during the pandemic. And they must have known that we would not be okay with that. So like they probably did that calculus and said, we're going to lose more money and, increasing the cost here. So we're better off just eating this money now. And eventually the profit will, like, PlayStation Now is probably at the cost that they want it at, like for in terms of which is why the price hasn't come down. Whereas then you look at this Pro and they say like, oh well, look, if 12% of people bought the last one, those people are the kind of people that are willing to spend more money. That's how we're going to make money on this thing. So that's also, I think, that's something that's priced into it. I don't know if this is as much of a harbinger of the future of console prices. I still think I think you're right that they're going to be a little bit more expensive next time, but I think the answer is $500 and not $600. I think they're going to be $500 next time.
They're going to be 500 again.
Well, yeah, but there won't be a $400 version.
I see.
And also, like, Xbox had a 3, because you could get the console for $400. Like, arguably, the console was $400, and if you want a Blu-ray player, it was $500.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's another way to look at it.
That's a good point.
It's more what I expect, actually.
Nope.
All right. So we have a challenge this week. My presentation is going to be next week because we are keeping this short for Alex. So a presentation next week, and then whoever loses this will have to do. They'll do their presentation the following one, like during the. They'll have 2 weeks to go to that. So that. Okay. Anyway, we played Walkabout mini golf, slingshot. The contest was break all the targets in the fastest time possible. I went on random.org because I don't have a 16:9 3x3 template for this, so we're just gonna watch this one at a time. I assume none of us here. I assume we're all under a minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank God. I maybe shouldn't have said that, but yes. Okay, we're all under a minute. I figured. All right, so that was good. I'm glad I made sure I did that.
My worst time was under a minute.
Okay, great. So yeah, we're gonna play these one at a time. I went to random.org. There's lists randomized over here, and the list that we will be watching them is number 1, Alex, number 2, Tom, and number 3, Chris.
Okay. I love that.
I didn't want to watch this because now I'm there. It's the conundrum with this.
What do you mean it's the conundrum?
I you think you have a good time, but then you're like, is it a good time? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way for us to know, though.
There's no way to know unless I I don't know, ask you.
I think we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Here we go. All right, so Alex is up. How many are there?
Tried to
12?
go for that one in the mouth first. Already off to a banger start.
I'm surprised that you didn't just restart if you missed the first one.
I don't know, man. I didn't have a lot of time.
I didn't know, man.
Yeah, you were too busy playing Control.
Yeah.
It's also tough, like, how much time you're supposed to put into this. None of us know what a good time is.
Yeah.
This was tiring to do fast.
It was.
Oh, we got a good time coming in here. 43 seconds. All right, Alex is up on the board with 43 seconds.
That's gonna be the best, though.
Look at him. He's so distraught.
The scores currently, for anyone keeping track, are I have 8 points, Alex has 5 points, Tom has 2 points. Can Tom pick up a point today?
Fuck me.
Right out of the gate. 1, 2. Oh, shit. 3.
Wow.
Oh, 1 miss. 5. Half targets down. 12 seconds. Holy shit. Tom might have this in the bag.
Oh my God.
And now I'm wondering, because I don't remember what my exact time was, but I'm getting very nervous right now. Oh, fuck.
Oh my God. I should have gotten under 30.
I think Tom's got a point here.
I should have gotten under 30. I should have gotten under 30. Damn it. I should have gone for under 30. Shit.
I'll tell you this.
Under 30 would be insane.
Under 30 would be really quick. Honestly, I'm surprised because my times prior to this were in the 50s. And I was like, okay, at this point, because I could gauge. I think there was a gauge to tell how you could do it well, because I was like, okay, well, a good time would be you hit them all on the first and you do it quick.
Yeah.
And I was getting there, but I found like the faster I was moving, the more I was missing, and I was just having to restart and do times again. And then on that, at one point I was like, I just want to get in the 40s, and then I think I'll be happy. I think I'll have a competitive number. And then I did that, and I was like, when I was afterwards, I was like, fuck, 36? Oh, all right. I think I have a good time. That was when I was like, I'm putting the headset down.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I had a very similar thing, and I remember thinking like, I remember when I got 41, and I was like, if I could get under 41, I think I can win, was what I thought. But now I actually don't know.
All right, well, let's see.
What the?
Oh, motherfucker.
Wait, what?
For the audio listeners at home, I am flying right up to the targets, so it is going to be much easier for me to win this.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, man.
Wait till you see the time, though, Tom. Oh, no!
Oh, God.
35 seconds, baby!
Oh, my God. When did you realize you could do that?
So I did the competition today. This was like my 5th attempt. I did like 5 attempts. So here's what happened is I went to do it today and I was like, I'm not standing during this shit. I'm gonna sit down. But I was like, oh, you know what? I'm too low to the ground. So I'll fly up and I'll fly in place. And then I was like, I did it twice and I kept missing everything. And I got like a minute 45 on my first. It was like bad, my first attempt.
God.
It was bad, dude. It was really bad. And then I was just like, I wonder. And so I started a new one and I flew forward. And the second I passed the target, they disappeared. So then I was like, let me try that again. And then I realized I can fly right up in front of the targets. You can go past the moving one, but if you stop in front of the other targets, if you don't pass that first line of them, you're good. You're safe. And I thought, Alex is going to be real mad.
Wow. Wow.
And you know what? Tom almost won because I didn't really do that good of a job.
Yeah, I actually, yeah.
I'm incredibly impressed by Tom's performance there.
I don't actually know if I would have done better if I'd done something similar. I think that me just like pivoting on a point. I was actually surprised. So I played this last minute because much like today being 9/11, I had forgotten that we had this challenge, and I know I brought it up to you last week. Well, I wanted to wait. I was like, okay, I'm going to do the challenge right now. Oh wait, which one is it? Let me wait for Chris to clarify, and I just never got back to it. And I was worried, obviously, because I was like, oh fuck, I've left it till last minute. What the fuck? But I was surprised with my first time. I was like, oh, I've really only missed these a couple of times, and I just feel that like I got to a point where I was like, if I have it lined up and I have it stretched all the way back, I just have to like have it like depending on where it is, I just need to get the angle right. And once I'd learned the angles, I was like, cool, I don't have to worry about necessarily like height or all those other factors. I just need to get the angle correct. I don't have to worry about how far I need to pull it back. So that's what you saw there. I'm just like pew, pew, pew. I was also worried for a time because my trigger wasn't working, so I switched to my left, which was really fucking annoying. I think that my trigger on my right VR head fucking controller is like busted, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to send the whole headset in. Fuck this thing, man. Like, so yeah, crazy. But Chris, I'm really fucking pissed off. I'm really fucking pissed off.
Now, Tom, there is no reality in which I would have beaten your time because I was dog shit at that. When I played yours before mine, for a second there, because I couldn't remember if I had 36 or 35 or 38, because I knew I had gotten 38, which I got prior to the 35, and I almost stopped on it. But I was like, no, I think that's the one that I did. I was like, or was it the 41 and then I got the 38?
It was really funny watching Tuna though,
because I knew I didn't put enough time into it. I knew I didn't put enough time into it, and it was just like,
It was just so fucking funny. The moment your thing started and I saw you fumble the first one, I was like, he's lost this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I felt real good about that when I saw that too.
I gave it like 10 minutes. I really should have given it like.
And now
like
you're
an
gonna be doing a
hour.
presentation.
I gave it like a half hour. I think I played for like a half hour.
So this is where, so when we do, this is our inaugural season, but when we do our first actual like real season of challenges for next year, when we do like a 2-season a year kind of thing, we break it up. This is where, Tom, I think it's going to feel a lot better for you, because what I think we should do is Taskmaster style, like 3 points to first place, 2 points to second place, 1 point.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Kind of a like 1 point to last place. And if you don't complete the challenge, DQ, no points. So that no more of this, people showing up just not having it completed, so that like, there actually is.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a lot better with the scores. But now it is 9 to 5 to 2. I feel like I robbed Tom today. Sorry, Tom, but at least you're not doing a presentation.
I know.
All right, the challenge is definitely 99 live stock Super Smash Brothers. Get your Super Smash Brothers ready.
Okay. That's what it's gonna be. Man, that's gonna be wild. So we're gonna do that in person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I guess I'm bringing my GameCube. I mean, I was, but now I'm definitely bringing my GameCube controller.
Yep.
I'm gonna bring the Xbox controller. I'm gonna bring the GameCube controller for Lads Weekend. Got both of those. Shit. Don't think I need the PlayStation controller. All right, well, that's another podcast, the 445th podcast to be precise. We are more than halfway through this season of Unranked. We're chugging along, moving ever forward. We got a lot next week. I've got a health presentation. We're going to have the results from our Smash Off and quite a bit of Lads Weekend to talk about. So, until next time, stay unranked.
Good.
Yep.